Hey friends, it's Jess. Welcome back to another Misfit Makers Besties tutorial. Today we are working with foils. This trend has been really popular the past couple weeks, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, we have to do this. It was so much fun to work with these foils, and it just gives your tumbler a new technique and a new style. So let's jump right in and get started. Today we are going to be working on a 32 ounce from Steel Magnolia. I absolutely love this size because it gives you so much room to work with, and you can put a larger decal. So we're going to start with an already glittered cup. I used Karen from the Glitter Guy, and I applied one coat of epoxy. I used 35 ml to get a nice good coverage. And then now we're going to go in and clean up the rim and sand after the first coat. So we're just going to go all the way around our rim with our X-Acto knife. Make sure your X-Acto knife is nice and sharp, and make sure your tumbler is on a flat surface like you see here. Don't try to be a magician and hold your tumbler in your hand while you're trying to do this. Please, you will end up cutting yourself. Okay, and now we're going to go in with our 60/80 sanding block and just sand that rim really, really good. This is really important because you want to make sure that you have a nice seal on the top rim. And plus, when doing this, it makes cleanup at the very end so much easier. This is a 60/80 sanding block. We're going to sand the top rim, the bottom rim, and then we are just going to sand the entire cup. Be careful if you only have one coat of epoxy on it because you do not want to sand into your glitter. So just keep that in mind when doing so. Well, if you After sanding your tumbler down, just take your tacket cloth and wipe your tumbler down. This is going to get rid of any debris on your tumbler. And now it is foil time. So my purple leopard foils are from Southern Belle. She has some adorable foils on her site, so check it out. I will also link it in the supply list. And let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to take my foil sheet and cut them into strips. This is going to make applying them a lot easier because the foil does come in a really long sheet. So as you see here, I'm just cutting them. They kind of already have the creases in there. I'm just cutting them into strips. Alright, so now you're going to need the tacket over and over is what I am going to use to apply my foil. I'm going to start out by just putting a little bit into a medicine cup and using a brush to brush it onto my tumbler. So I already had a design in my mind that I wanted it to look like, and I know I wanted a large section to put the decal over. So here I am just kind of making like a rectangle shape with my tacket, and then I'm going to fill it in with the tacket. So you want to make sure, again, just like Mod Podge, that you don't want any thick clumps because we want to make sure it dries all the way before we add the foils, so which you will see in a second. So here I am just taking my brush, filling my rectangle in, and then we are going to let it dry for a second before we add our foils. Here I am. You can see the technique I'm doing with my brush. I'm kind of just like loosely brushing the strokes up and down because I don't want a perfect rectangle. I don't want a perfect straight line. I want that distressed look. So here you can see I'm just kind of aggressively stroking my brush down and then up to get it that distressed look. Okay, so now I'm going to hit the spot with my heat gun. Do not use your torch on this. You're going to want to use a heat gun. This is just from Hobby Lobby. It was around $14. And I'm going to make sure that that tacket is really, really dry because once it dries, it will still be tacky. But if you apply your foil to really wet tacket, the foils will not come up very well. So make sure you hit that spot with your heat gun. And then it is kind of hard to see, so I had to like feel it. You saw me feel it with my fingers a little bit to make sure I was applying it in the correct spot. And then once you're ready, I'm just going to take my strip of foil and apply it, and then apply some pressure, kind of rub it on there to make sure that it applies nicely. I also found it very helpful that if you notice that the foil's not coming up, like it's not sticking all the way and it's kind of coming up streaky like this first piece here, that's okay. You can go over it again after it dries. So let it dry a few minutes and then just apply some tacket over that foil and apply another sheet of foil and it will blend right in. I also notice that after you apply your foil, if you hit the top of your foil with your heat gun, that helps it come up like as a perfect full piece of foil as well, and not so much like the streakiness look. It just depends, like I said again, on the look you are going for. So I'm going to do this all the way around my cup. I'm going to leave my bigger section, like I said, where I want my decal to go. And then here shortly, you're going to see me go around the bottom of my cup and then fill in some spots. And I even do a spot on the bottom of my cup just for a little extra touch. So enjoy watching me apply these foils for the next few minutes. So once you get it the way that you like, you are ready to epoxy. I went back in and I applied another coat of foils over some sections because I didn't want that streaky look. I wanted it to be nice and full. So I did go back in and apply another coat of foils on top of that first layer in a few sections. And then I am going to use my CCDIY Fast Set, and I mixed 30 ml. And we are doing our first coat of epoxy. You do not have to wait any period of time after applying the foils. Once you get those foils on, as long as your tacket is dry, you can go right in and apply your epoxy. Applying the Make sure that it's a nice even layer of epoxy that you're applying. You don't want your epoxy dripping off. You want to make sure your turner's level so you don't get any muffin tops or bubble butts down at the bottom of your tumbler. So make sure that your cup's on there even. Make sure your turner is on a leveled surface, and make sure you don't apply too much of epoxy so it doesn't pool up in areas. After you let it turn for a few minutes, I will go in and I will hit it with my torch. My torch you can find on Amazon. If you don't have a torch, yes, you can use a heat gun, but a torch, you're going to be able to pop those bubbles a lot easier, so I do recommend purchasing a torch. They're very inexpensive. All right, my silhouette users, are you ready? Here I have my decal and my silhouette cameo, okay? I am going to show you how I did my offset. So here I am. I am my own work of art, and then the purple is my offset, okay? So here I am just showing you my decal, showing you my size. I'm going to make this black so you can see it a little easier. You're going to want to right-click it and then click Offset, okay? Then it's going to look like this. You're going to go over here and you're going to make that offset smaller. So I'm just going to hit the down button until I get it to the size I want. I like a really little offset just to give it a little pop, but I personally do not like the larger offsets because it just, for some reason, it looks a little too big for my liking. Once you do that, you're going to hit apply once you get it to the size that you like. I'm going to copy all this and group it together so it makes it easier. For some reason, I couldn't find the word group. Let's turn this into a color so you guys can see. There we go. And now we have our offset. So let's put this back on top so you can see the way it looks. And voila, it is that easy, guys. So you're going to print these or cut these in at two different times. So you're going to print the cut. Why do I keep saying print? Jerry, get out of my head. Jerry, get out of my head. She always makes fun of me because I say print. It's not a printer. It's a cutter. Okay. So you're going to cut these in two different sections. You're going to cut whatever colors that you're using. You're going to cut them at two different times. Okay. And this is my settings that I use. I use a speed 6 and a force 11. If your blade is brand new, then I would recommend using a speed 4 and a force 9. Oh, there's Jerry. Hey, Bestie. Watching you work. I'm using a speed. All right, so once you cut your decals out, we have my transfer tape is from Vinyl Fun for Everyone. They come in these big old rolls. They last me forever. I can use the same piece over and over and over again. They are amazing. So weed your decals out. I'm going to pick up what is going to go on top first. I'm going to pick up the decal first, and then I'm going to apply it to the offset, okay? So here I am. I'm picking up my decal. I just love the thing. And then I'm going to apply it to the offset. That way I can apply it to the tumbler all in one piece. If you have troubles, like, oops, see, I just almost did a boo-boo right here. If you have troubles freehanding it and you can't apply your decal to your offset just by looking at it, definitely use the parchment paper method. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we can definitely do a quick tutorial on that. I most of the time just freehand it because it shouldn't be that difficult, but I understand some people are like perfectionists and they want to make sure that it's lined up perfectly, and that is okay. So I'm just going to line up my tumbler. I'm going to line up my decal to the spot that we made and just stick it on there. So okay, so again, make sure that you sand and clean up your rim after every coat of epoxy. Usually I would do this before applying my decal, but oops, I forgot. So I'm just cleaning up very carefully with my X-Acto knife, and I'm once again going around the rim with my sanding block. And this is, like I said, again, this is going to make cleanup at the end very, very easy. After wiping my tumbler down with my tack kit cloth, I am going to go in and apply a layer of quick coat over my decal. Anytime I'm using glittered vinyl or metallic vinyl, I do recommend using this product because it's going to seal that decal. A lot of times with these fancy vinyls, and even sometimes with just regular 651 vinyl, your epoxy likes to repel. So if you ever have that happening, I do recommend getting this product from CCDIY and sealing those decals first. It will save you a few steps. Then we're going to go in with 40 ml of Alumilite regular epoxy for our final coat. And after applying your epoxy, of course, as always, you will want to hit that with your torch to pop all those bubbles, and then I will let it turn for about 8 hours before messing with it at all. All right, guys, here she is. What do you think? I am obsessed. I absolutely love the way she turned out. I cannot wait to see all of your guys' creations. Make sure you tag MMBX or Besties on all your social medias so that way we can see your beautiful work and your beautiful ideas you come up with when using your foils. I hope this tutorial helped you guys, and I will see you guys later.